Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to our Let's Play of Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. In the last episode, we started the story, got our main mission, and learned a little bit about our protagonist, Ramza Beold, a military cadet who just wants to make his family proud and fight in the Order of the Northern Sky against a local revolution known as the Corpse Brigade. In this episode, we're going to be tackling our first main combat mission and advancing the plot to reach the magic city of Garland. So this is how a lot of the main tactics are going to go. Positioning battle members. You can now choose where to position your units for the start of the battle. Before combat begins, you must decide which units to place and where. For battles that are part of the main story, Ramza cannot be removed. When selecting your party, move the cursor to a unit and press Y to view its status screen. From here, you can change the unit's job and equipment to better deal with your opponents. Tactical View. Hold RT to switch to Tactical View, either when selecting battle members or during battle. It provides a clear view of ally and enemy positions, as well as the lay of the land. So, with our main character, Ramza, he is a level 1 squire with 49 HP, 16 MP, and a turn count of 100. He has 70 bravery and 70 faith. So it's worth going over a little bit about how the stats work in this game. We'll get more into it later, but especially for bravery and faith, these are two of your main modifiers for your stats. Bravery increases and decreases the amount of physical damage you can take, and faith increases and decreases the amount of magical damage you can take. So if you have high faith, you would deal more magic damage, but also take more magic damage. It's worth noting that when recruiting allies, you have to balance these two stats. If a unit has too low of bravery, you'll get warnings, and then they'll eventually turn into a deserter for your party, and you'll lose that party member forever. With faith, if their faith becomes too high, they'll have a crisis of faith about their place in the war, or the upcoming war, and they'll leave your party on a pilgrimage. If you have 0 faith, you gain the atheist status, which is unofficial in the game, but it means that you take and can deal no magic damage. It's worth noting that only main party members such as Ramza or other story characters can achieve such low bravery and faith, because they'll never desert. So, it's worth noting that Ramza comes equipped with 2 weapons. He comes equipped with a broadsword that has 4 damage and has a parry chance of 5%, and a dagger that has 3 damage but has a parry chance of 5%. You want to equip the broadsword for this. Ramza can be pretty much anybody you want, but at this point, he is basically like a junior knight. So, we can also switch him to be a chemist. This makes him into basically a healer. He can throw healing potions at other party members. And this is Tactical View, just so you can get a better lay of the land. It gives you a top-down perspective. Very cool. So this is our other squire. He's basically going to be another type of brawler. So we're actually going to place him a little more up front, next to Ramza. We're going to have 1 squire on the flanks. Our chemist is going to be up in the back because he's our healer. He's a support class.
Understood.
The group is full, only 5 units can be placed into the group. So we have our full complement right now. Plus Delita.
Forward. What have we here? Little moppets, is it? Our luck's turned for the better. All right, lads. Cut through these and we're as good as fled. Make quick work of them. And don't be leaving no squealers behind.
So, in every battle except for one, the condition is usually to defeat all enemies or to defeat a particular target, usually their commander. In this case, it's just defeat all enemies. So the rogues get to move first.
Careful, Ramza. Remember, the well-aimed thrust pierces the mail.
Don't patronize me, Delita. We Beowulfs know our way around the battlefield.
Beowulf, was it? Heir to the noble house, Beowulf, I'd wager. Looks like we have ourselves some apprentices from the academy. Well, highborn moppets are still moppets.
Lay down your arms or die clutching them. None will mourn your passing.
Is that right? You're in far over your little heads.
It's time.
So we can take a look around the battlefield, see where we can move and to where. So I think, let's see, where do I want Ramza to be? It's worth noting that in the original PS1 game, you couldn't remove... Once you made a move, it's kind of like chess. You couldn't redo your turn. In this way, or in this game mode, you can actually restart your turn if you feel that you made a mistake. So, a couple different things. You can move your units up to high towers as long as there's a preceding step, unless you have a unit that has the ignore elevation command, which we don't have yet. I think what I want to do is, if I can do it, I'll have Ramza... Can't attack anyone yet, but I can set him up for a good stone throw. So you notice that this guy has a lower movement chance than Ramza does. He has a lower move stat. Let's check what abilities he has. Squire Job Command. He has Throw Stone, so you can lob a stone at a distant unit, and has a chance of knocking it back. The damage dealt varies greatly. Horizontal range of 4, a vertical range of unlimited, an area of effect of 1 title, and a height of effect of plus or minus 0. And added effects are none. So we're going to move our Squire up next to here, and I think we can throw a stone from here. Yes. Throw a rock at his head. And it's always a good idea to keep your units back facing to a wall, just to reduce the chance that they'll get critically hit.
Let me think.
Let's see, we're kind of stacked up over here, so we're going to be moving here and directly striking this Squire. Oh, wait, no. Looks like we can't move that way. That's okay. We'll get close. Evaded. So he evaded our attack, which, you know, kind of sucks that he does that, but hey, happens.
Whatever it takes.
So the chemists, you usually want to keep them like behind or like around other party members, but behind them, because the chemists are squishy, but they can provide great healing benefits. So we're going to keep him kind of over here, just to prevent him from being flanked. Yes. And we're going to have our other chemists come over here. And they can't really do anything, so we're just going to wait. He's waiting. That chemist flanks forward. And he's guarding. That squire flanks forward. She's guarding. Delita moves forward. He attacks. And it's going to do 20 damage.
You've nearly finished me.
Ready and able.
Looks like he's about to attack Ramza. And Neil's level here, one of the enemies, increased. So you get increases based on move actions that you take in battle. I see that Delita can probably get one on his own, or at least this squire. This guy, he can't be attacked right now, so we're actually going to take a movement a little closer. We're going to attack him. He has 23 health. It'll do 20 damage. This will put him into critical condition.
Good at all.
I'm going to face towards her. Gonna have our squire move a little closer. Gonna have him use his potion on Ramza over here, since he's taken a lot of... Okay, well, Ramza's out of range, so that's okay. Can't get close enough to him, so we're just going to attack this guy and take him out.
This can't be happening.
So she actually has a Phoenix down, which is actually a item that reoccurs in Final Fantasy that always revives a KO party member. So when a party member is killed, they have a little health bar that shows up. That health bar for your allies will gradually deplete, and when it depletes fully, they'll turn into a crystal, and you can grab that crystal. But if you don't revive a KO party member by the time they turn into a crystal, then they are permanently gone. We're going to throw that onto Ramza. Give him a little recovery.
I'm in your debt.
Since Ramza's one of our strongest characters, and we're going to have her face this way. This guy's going to move in. And he can't attack this guy over here, but he can finish this guy off. Attack.
Never saw this coming.
Alright, he's coming around. He's going to throw a stone at one of our squires.
Clear shot. I'm here.
Our chemist is going to retreat. Oh, he's actually going to attack. But that's actually a bad move from the AI because my guy can absolutely slaughter his guy if I get a back attack. She's going to rush. This has a chance of knocking me back, but it didn't this time.
Ready. No substitute for experience. The fruits of my labors.
So we're going to move behind. We're going to attack from the back, which gives us a heavier critical hit chance. I'm just going to have him advance up here, and he's going to wait. Our other chemist is going to... Where do we want to move her? She's actually just good right here. We're fine.
No turning back.
And this will kill her. Knockout.
Is this how I die?
And now we only have one enemy unit left. He's going to attack for 12. And then it's my turn again. Alright, Delita's going to move. Again, Delita is an AI party member. He kind of moves of his own accord. I think what I want Ramza to do is move over here. And he doesn't have anything equipped right now, so he can't do anything. I'm just going to wait. This guy is going to flank down here. And he is going to beat the crap out of him and knock him out.
Was I so weak?
And that's the end of our first combat encounter.
Why persist in such folly? Honest work would see them die old in bed. Yet they choose instead this early grave.
So we got a Mithril Knife, a Phoenix Down, and a potion. And the greatest contribution was from Richard. Ricard? I don't know. So, remember how I told you to keep an eye out for leitmotifs? This is Ramza's main theme, the hero's theme, which will come up time and time again.
Approached the hour of his death.
What news of the war?
The Order has struck a great blow. Limbri is ours once more. 'Tis but a matter of time ere the Ordalians withdraw from Seltenia. All goes as planned, Lord Father.
The envoy dispatched to treat with Advocate Lenario returned this night past.
So, we get a little taste of who these characters are. Zalbog, the knight who was speaking, is a military commander, and Dysadarg, the older brother with the Elvis hairdo and the beard, he is a diplomat who served in the 50 Years' War as the older brothers of Ramza.
He has agreed to your proposal, Lord Father.
Good. Very good. Then the war will die with me.
Father.
There now, Alma. Do you want my last memory to be of your tears?
Where is that Ramza? He should be here at your side.
Zalbag,
Dystag. You are dear to me. But Ramza is no less so. Though he be not the issue of the womb that bore you, my sons, still my blood courses through his veins. Watch after him.
So, here it becomes apparent that Barbaneth was initially married to an unseen noblewoman who gave him Dysadarg and Zelbog, and then married... This comes up later, but he married a commoner named Lugria, and she gave him Ramza and Alma.
Lord Father!
You forget yourself, Ramza.
You have come. Good. Let me look upon your face once more.
Lord Father.
How long has it been? You've grown into a fine young man. I would hear of your studies. You've been at the academy since spring, is it? Hear me, Ramza. For generations, we Beowulfs have stood foremost of those who serve the crown. Ours is the soul of the night. Become a knight worthy of your name. Tolerate no injustice. Stray not from the true path. You will know the path you must walk. A Beowulf can walk no other.
I will not fail you, Father.
Your friend, Delita. He is a good boy. He is low-born, but he can serve you well. I've made arrangements for him to enter the academy. You should have seen the look on the headmaster's face.
So here we see that Ramza and Delita were childhood friends, but Delita was born just common instead of being of the noble military of House Beowulf.
In the years ahead, you will need someone whom you can trust. You could do far worse than Delita.
It seems a little bit weird because we just saw him kidnapping a princess, but, you know, that's spoiler territory and we'll get into it.
As you say, Father.
Take care of your sister. Show these brothers of yours what it is. What it is to be a knight.
So, seems we have a couple different places to go. The main menu. Pressing pause while on the world map opens the main menu, which contains the following. Units. View party and change their equipment, abilities, and so on. Inventory. Check the items in your possession. And Chronicle. Learn about the world and story. First, try opening the main menu and visiting the units screen, where you may equip your party with weapons and armor and assign abilities. From the units section of the main menu, you may use Set as Favorite to have your favorite units appear at the top of the list. So we're going to do that right now. This would be a combat encounter. On the Mandalia Plain, large limestone spires protrude from this plain like the fangs of a great beast. And then we have Egros Castle, high seat of Galleon and home to Duke Larg, its lord. This city fortress is second only to the royal capital of Lysalia. And Egros Castle is also where the Beowulfs have their mansion. So, we're going to go here. On the unit screen, move the cursor to a unit and press A to view its status. From there, you may learn about more about the unit, equip it with weapons and armor, learn and assign abilities, change its job, and more. You can change the order in which your units appear by pressing X to move them one at a time. Units can also be registered as favorites by pressing pause. So, we have a couple different here. We have Ricard, who is our guest of honor during the initial party. Ramza, our main character. Another squire named Bryce. A chemist named Arthur. Another squire named Emily. Another squire named Ivalice, which is a fun name. And a chemist named Ava. So we have a couple different inventories. So we have a mithril knife, a bowgun, oak staff, rod, broadsword, and dagger. So we got a couple different items here. And here you can see what kind of jobs can also equip it. Right now, the chemist can't equip staves. The archer can't equip bowguns. They can equip a mithril knife. The Chronicle provides a wealth of knowledge that allows you to deepen your understanding of the world and story. Since I'm a big lore nerd, we're actually going to be visiting this as soon as it updates.
What would you wish to know?
So you have to remember that in Final Fantasy Tactics, the story is told to us in terms of the past by Arslan, who's a historian who studies this period of history and is writing a book on it. Here we have Ramza, the faction of the Royal Military Academy at Garland, since he's a cadet there. He's a knight apprentice, he hails from Egro's castle, and House Beowulf is a respected noble family. Daisadarg, the eldest, is a trusted retainer of Duke Larg and serves as Galleon's chief ambassador, and Zalbog is the current Lord Commander of the Order of the Northern Sky. Delita is Ramza's childhood friend, and a cadet at the Royal Academy. Born to a farming family, the Desmine? I don't know how to pronounce that word. The domain of House Beowulf. Delita and his sister were taken in by the late Lord Barboneth after losing both his parents to the Black Death. Despite his low birth, he was allowed into the academy at Lord Barboneth's request. Alma Beowulf. Alma is the youngest of the 4 Beowulf children and is Ramza's full sister. Since birth, Alma has spent almost her entire life within Orban Monastery and has only recently returned to live at the Beowulf Manor. Because of their similar circumstances and closeness in age, she shares a stronger bond with Ramza than with her elder half-brothers. Her closest friend is Delita's sister Titra. And we know Orban Monastery because that was where the first tutorial battle took place with Gafgarian and the kidnap of the Princess Ovelia. Daisadarg is the eldest and holds the title of Count. He's a military tactician in the service of Duke Larg. In accordance with the wishes of his late father, Daisadarg ceded his position as Lord Commander of the Order of the Northern Sky to his militarily minded brother Zalbog. Instead, he became a strategist for Duke Larg, a friend of Daisadarg since childhood. He is also said to be an expert swordsman, well versed in the ways of magic. He actually comes with a unique job we see later called Rune Knight. Zalbog Beowulf, Knight Devout, Lord Commander of the Order of the Northern Sky, and holder of the title of Knight Devout. Zalbog is the second eldest and half-brother to Ramza. His numerous victories, and no defeats, in the closing stages of the 50 Years' War led the late King Denanda IV to award him a Viscounty, declaring, "The savior of Ivalice is in Galleon, and his name is Beowulf." Zalbog is also a devout member of the Church of Galavados, which becomes a very important plot point later. Duke Bestralda Larg, Liege Lord of Galleon. Liege Lord of Galleon and true-born brother to Queen Laviria, wife of King Ondoria III, known as the White Lion due to his house standard. The Duke's lordship and familial connections have earned him a reputation as the most powerful man in Ivalice. It's worth noting that his familial connections and the wording of the here of most powerful man excludes even the king. House Larg is a branch of the royal Akasha family, and can trace its roots to King Denanda IV, the monarch responsible for the 50 Years' War. Duke Larg served as a general in the closing stages of that conflict, and today possesses command authority over the Order of the Northern Sky, said to be the mightiest army in the kingdom. Duke Druxmald Gultana, faction Liege Lord of Zeltenia. The ruler of Zeltenia, Duke Gultana, is like Duke Larg, descended from the line of King Denanda II, the monarch responsible for the 50 Years' War. His standard is the Black Lion, one head of the royal family's twin-headed lion crest. He served as a general in the 50 Years' War and now controls the Order of the Southern Sky, one of the greatest knightly orders of Ivalice. We also see that the royal family's crest is a twin-headed lion. This is a reference to the crest of the Plantagenets, who the Akashas are based on. Marquis Massam Elmdor, or Marquess, liege lord of Limbury, Marquess Elmdor battled fearlessly against the Ordalian army when it invaded Ivalice in the latter days of the 50 Years' War. Hailed by his friends as the Silver Prince, and he was feared by his foes as the Silver Demon. He is a devout member of the Church of Glabados and an ordained Inquisitor. Barbaneth is our dad, we know about him, and he was awarded with Knight Gallant, the highest rank of knighthood. And it's noted that he died of sickness. Ondoria Akasha III, the 18th monarch of the Akasha line. He is frail, weak-willed, and generally ill-suited to his position. In fact, many historians point to his poor leadership as one of the primary factors behind Ivalice's defeat in the 50 Years' War. Arslan J.D. His last name's a spoiler. Faction, the National Academy of Valendia, a modern-day scholar of medieval Ivalician history who teaches at the National Academy. Arslan is known as an archaeologist and theologian, and many remember him for the controversy he sparked with his interpretation of the Durai Papers. He has penned such classics as the Enigmatic War of the Lions, the True Saint Exura, and the Durai Papers, 400 Years of Truth. Ivalice is based off medieval England, and compromises 6 fiefdoms: Gallion, Fulvaham, Lazalia, Lionel, Limbury, and Zeltenia. Gallion and Zeltenia, located at the far east and west edges of the kingdom, are the most notable. Ordalia, which is based off medieval France, as its enemy in the 50 Years' War, just as France was England's enemy in the 100 Years' War, is a kingdom to the east of Ivalice, with a land border along the province of Zelmonia. Its capital is Viuria. Though the two nations share a royal bloodline, conflict erupted between them over the succession to the Ordalian throne, which manifested in the 50 Years' War. This is also a reference because the Plantagenets and the Valois dynasties in our history compromised a similar bloodline, and its dispute over who succeeded to the throne of the French started the 100 Years' War. Ramonda, a powerful military nation situated to the northwest of Ivalice, across the Rana Strait. During the 50 Years' War, Ramonda was called upon by Ordalia, with whom it shares a royal bloodline, to field its forces against Ivalice. Gallion, a fiefdom in western Ivalice, its liege lord is Duke Larg. Yada yada, blah de blah. Nothing really that important. Just a prosperous nation, prosperous fiefdom and liegedom in the west of Ivalice. The Royal Military Academy, and the magic city of Garland and Gallion. Here, the sons and daughters of the nobility train tirelessly as knights apprentice. So we have a couple different things. The 50 Years' War, which I've already explained. The eradication of the Corpse Brigade, which is what we're doing right now in the story. The Black Lion, which is the epithet of Duke Gultana, the liege lord of Zeltenia. It is derived from the Gultanian family crest, which depicts a black lion facing right. Duke Larg is his natural enemy, and in Gallion, these are the two people that will eventually spark the main conflict in the story. House Beowulf is a distinguished military family that saved Ivalice from defeat on numerous occasions. The Order of the Northern Sky is what we're training to accomplish, to become a part of, as Barbaneth, Zalbog, and Daisadarg are all members. The Corpse Brigade, a group of outlaws that emerged in Gallion after the 50 Years' War. Its members were once soldiers who fought for Ivalice, but they turned to bandit trade in the war's wake. This is because the nobles of Ivalice refused to pay the commoners for their service in the 50 Years' War in the wake of Ivalice's defeat. Crystals, gleaming jewels left behind by living beings upon death, that harbor the power of the soul. They can impart vitality as well as knowledge of the departed to those who touch them, and with their gentle light illuminate the darkest places. So that's about all we know.
Take care. To fully understand Ivalician history, one must take a broad view.
Ivalice's defeat in the 50 Years' War had left the kingdom in turmoil, with murder and banditry rife in every region. One notorious band of outlaws, the Corpse Brigade, has been terrorizing Callione, prompting Duke Larg to set the Order of the Northern Sky and eradicating them in the operation of grand scale. As part of the effort, Ramza and his fellow knights, Prentice, were ordered to Igor's castle lair to bolster its defense. So we can zoom in, and this is basically what we're doing right now. You can visit this if you come back, and it will give you like a summary of what you're supposed to be doing in the main plot.
Safe travels. Here we may learn more of pivotal moments in history.
So here's where we can view a lot of the cutscenes. Knight's Apprentice. Ramza and a number of Knights Apprentice, all soon to graduate from the Knights ranks of knighthood, were called together at the Academy Hall. Yada yada, blah de blah, father's passing. This is basically where you can view a lot of the plot.
Oh, leaving, are we?
And this is where your tutorial
Sure to
comes
apply
in.
that which you learn here.
Master Darlavan tells you basically your tutorial sort of stuff. He's kind of boring, and it is very, very interesting if you want to scroll through it, but we're not going to actually go through this except for influences of the Zodiac. Every living being in Ivalice is designated a Zodiac sign according to the month of their birth. The affinity between these signs influences the interactions between each unit. Units that share a positive affinity will find their abilities inflict more damage upon one another, heal for a greater amount, and are more accurate. Units that share a negative affinity will find the opposite to be true. Keeping track of every possible interaction between all units on the battlefield is far from easy. First, try to learn the affinities of your allies and proceed from there. Once you understand the compatibility of your preferred units, you may use the knowledge to your advantage. Parrying and evasion can be blocked with the help of a shield or a cloak, thereby avoiding damage. Against physical attacks, a parry will only succeed if the receiving unit is facing in certain directions. For example, a shield can parry attacks that come from the front or side, but not from behind. Magic attacks, on the other hand, may be parried or evaded regardless of which direction the receiving unit is facing. Physical and Magic Evasion. A unit's physical evasion and magic evasion attributes are determined by its current job. These attributes do not change when the unit's level or job level increases. Basically, some units have better or worse magical or physical evasion. Lessons in battle, turn order, movement range, healing, waiting. A lot of these are just, not... A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory, and I'll be explaining them more as the game goes on. If a unit's HP drops to 0, it will be KO'd and rendered unable to fight. A series of heart marks will appear above such units and disappear one by one. When there are no more heart marks, the unit will disappear and can no longer be revived. How quickly the heart marks disappear depends on the KO unit's speed attribute. In battle, units with higher speed will find their turn come sooner, but if KO, the downside is that their heart marks will disappear more quickly. So basically, speed determines how fast you move and also how fast you permanently die. Should all of the KO'd unit's heart marks disappear, it will vanish and be replaced with either a crystal or a chest. If another unit stops on the tile containing the crystal or chest, it will obtain the contents. Chests contain a single piece of equipment that belonged to the deceased. Crystals may be used to fully restore the HP and MP of the units that have collected. In some cases, the collecting unit will be given the opportunity to acquire one or more abilities that the deceased unit had learned. When a KO'd unit disappears from the battlefield, it can never be brought back to life. Whether you revive it before the heart marks run out, or choose to use its crystal to heal or strengthen your units is up to you. Before making such a decision, you must consider the possible benefits and drawbacks. So, what's helpful is you never want to basically use your own units. You never want them to crystallize, because that means they're permanently lost, along with any equipment you may have given to them. Jobs, lessons on jobs, attributes and abilities, chemists. The Squire is basically a junior knight, and it's a tutorial mouse. Chemists are healers, knights are attackers, archers are long-distance fighters, white mages are traditional jobs in Final Fantasy, and are pretty much exclusively support classes, and can also have some powerful attacking magics for good measure. The problem with white mages is that they're very, very squishy. They will die easily. Black mages also came in the first Final Fantasy game, and black mages are glass cannons. They have very powerful spells, including late-game spells like Flare, but they are also very squishy. They'll die super easily. White mages and black mages are basically opposites. White mages support, black mages attack. Lessons on items and equipment. We don't really need a lot of this, but, you know, daggers are pretty self-explanatory. Swords have certain commands that can be attached to them. Bows are long range. Staves and rods are for mages, which we don't have yet. Shields are for knights. Hats are clothing, which raise a maximum unit's HP. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. Status effects. Protect is a beneficial status that increases a unit's resistance to physical attacks. Shell can resist magic. Regen regenerates health. Re-raise can bring you back from the dead if you automatically. Haste increases speed. Float can be unaffected by water even during inclement weather. Reflect is basically reflects magic back to the caster. Faith can increase magical attack. Atheist can decrease magical attack, but also decreases the damage you take from magic. Invisibility can prevent targeting. KO means you're dead. Poison means you sap health. Blindness means you hit less. Silence means you can't use magic. Toad means you're useless. Stone means you're petrified and you can't move. Sleep means you're also petrified. Confusion means you can't be given orders and will attack enemies and allies alike. Slow means you move slower. Stop means you're frozen. Immobilize means you're also frozen, even when your turn comes. Disable means you can't do anything, but you can still move around. Oil means you will take increased damage from fire. Oil doesn't come up very often. Berserk means you lose all attack, but you gain more. You lose all control, but you gain more attack. Chicken is basically the same as Toad, but they'll attempt to flee. Vampire also doesn't come up very often, and will act of its own accord, and will attack enemies and allies using the Blood Drain ability. Undead doesn't come up very often either. Charmed can only be given out by the Order type, which we don't have yet, but Charm means that you can be encouraged to fight for the opposing side. Traitor is basically the same. Doom means you'll instantly die after a certain amount of turns. And finally, Advanced Lessons, Terrain, Rainy and Dry Seasons, the Ivalicean Calendar. Generally, rainy seasons suck more to fight in. Zodiac Affinities. So, we're just going to take Aries for an example, because that's my main class, that's my zodiac sign. Aries shares a positive affinity with Leo and Sagittarius, which means that I'll do and take increased damage from Leo and Sagittarius. I share a negative affinity with Cancer and Capricorn. And Aries shares the best affinity with Libra, unless one or both units is of a creature, in which case the affinity will be negative instead.
I'll keep you in my thoughts. Knowing oneself is the first step to
This is our achievements.
Keep your wits about you. A firm grasp of the fundamentals is forget not what I taught you.
So, I think after 45 minutes of going through the, tutorial menu, I think that'll be enough. Fear not, next episode will be far more interesting and have a lot more combat in it. See you guys then!